Delicioso.
For sure. Cheers. Hey guys, so the high outside today is like 9 degrees. I am not going to be filming a video outside. Instead, I'm going to bring you the most thorough, comprehensive review of the Upper Park Shift bag ever on the internet, maybe. But I've had this bag, this Upper Park Shift, for about 2 years now, so I definitely put it through its paces. When I got it back in the day, I felt like not many people were using this. Now I see it all the time on the course, so it's definitely picked up in steam and popularity over the past year or so. But because of its unique structure, its unique layout, it definitely targets a very specific demographic. Talk all about the layout of the bag and the main components. Keep in mind, I don't think this is the most up-to-date version of the Shift. I think they've come out with a more recent one. Like, they do small updates. The main components are all exactly the same. As you can see, it has a very open layout, very non-traditional, where the main parts of the storage are actually on the sides rather than in the middle, and by doing so, you save a ton of weight. As you can see, these side pockets, this is a really interesting like mesh material on the outside with some really strong elastics that keep the discs in place here and here. 2 different compartments on each side, 4 discs, as well as 3 compartments in the middle with these fabric dividers that allow you to store discs in the middle as well as the side. And then you also have a pocket right here, which you can store discs in. I have a disc in there, but it's mostly meant for doohickeys and fiddly bits. And this can fit a pretty wide array of water bottles. This is a 24 ounce, just, standard water bottle. Fits in there pretty loose. You can fit a much bigger water bottle if you so choose to do so. But first, we will talk about the disc storage, because that is probably the most important and unique aspect of the bag. So right now, in this bag, I have 5 discs in the center area, split across the 3 compartments. With these compartments in the middle, you can fit probably 6 discs, but it gets extremely tight. It goes 6 altogether. Like, they're really hard. See, I'm trying to take this one out, but like all the ones above it are coming with it. It's really hard to just take one out and then putting it back when there's already 5 in there is very difficult. So I don't love that. So I usually go 5, and that kind of allows them to breathe and fit a lot better, and it's a lot smoother when you put them in and take them out. I typically put my putters and mid-range type, kind of the thicker discs, I'll put in the middle compartment here. You can put the putters and the thicker discs on the outside, but it kind of limits you on the outside if you're using putters here. So I find the putters fit better in here. If you put drivers in here, of course, more will fit. Distance drivers tend to be thinner compared to the thicker putters. So you can definitely fit more drivers in here, but then you're forced to use the putters in here, which really limits you on the sides. And these sides are really important for the structural integrity of the whole bag. But we'll get to that later. But so usually I do about 5 in the middle console here. And you can actually put in this like front pocket here, I don't know if you can see it super well. Sometimes I will put a disc I'm not going to use as much in here. It can get tricky though, because obviously you want to have this space to put just like your general things. There's not like a lot of space on the bag to put towels, your keys, your wallet, whatever, just miscellaneous items. So this is really like the main spot for those. So it can kind of get in the way if you start putting discs in here. Also, discs, when you pull it out, if your sides are really full, it can be hard, especially if it's a wide diameter like mid-range, to pull it out. You're kind of hitting those side discs. So I don't put much in the way of discs in this compartment, but occasionally I'll put one if I really want one extra one. So in theory, 5 to 6 here. And then on the sides, on this side, you can see I got 3 drivers in this top side, and then 2 drivers in the bottom side. I used to just do 2 and 2, but I really wanted a little more capacity. These are only held up by elastic, which is a great design because it saves a ton of weight, because you don't have like bulky, unnecessary padding on the side. It's just the bare minimum fabric on the side, which helps out with weight, but it comes with a unique drawback where if you max out the number of discs in the side, it's naturally going to stretch out this elastic. And once you start putting 5 in here rather than 4, it's hard to go back and put less discs in, because it's just going to be a lot looser. Like when you get this bag brand new, it's going to be really tight to put anything in here. And the more you put in here, the looser these get, and then it's basically hard to then put less sticks in it later because it's just going to be loose, which isn't the end of the world, but you know, it can get to the point where it's so loose that it's kind of just like flopping around a little bit. Makes it so that they fall out easier, but not a huge deal. And I think 5 is a really good middle ground where if you put too many in here, like if you put 6, let's just try 6, you will get to the point where it becomes really hard to take them out and just put them in. Like if I put 6 in here, again, you know, I kind of need 2 hands, I kind of need to finagle it, so I find 5's like the good middle ground for drivers specifically. Obviously that's going to change a little bit if you put putters in here. And then on this side, I usually go 2 mid-ranges and then 2 drivers down here, just because I don't carry a ton of distance drivers. So if you're keeping count here, that's 5, potentially a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 is, to me, 15 is max capacity. Like if you put more than 15 in here, it gets uncomfortable. Obviously, if you carry 1 putter and a bunch of drivers, then you can fit 16, 17 discs in here. I think they advertise, like Upper Park advertises this is 18 disc capacity, which I think is a little deceiving. I can't imagine putting 18 discs in here. That's a ton of discs for the size and the components and the materials used. 18 just feels unrealistic unless you're literally carrying all drivers and you're maxing everything out and you're stretching everything to its absolute max, which just makes things harder to put in and take out. So personally, I would not recommend. If you're buying this because you think you can fit 18 in, I might look elsewhere, because I really think 14 is the magic number. And when I talk to other people who have this bag, almost always I hear 14 is kind of that magic number. If you don't have these filled with discs, like sometimes, you know, I'm at a hole and I just empty my bag, I'm throwing a bunch of discs, and so let's say we take these guys out, the bag becomes super flimsy. Like the discs and the sides are critical for the structural integrity of the whole bag. Like it's really cool design because it allows them to go really, really minimalist on the sides, but the drawback is that like this is going to, like if we take this out, I mean the bag becomes very floppy, it falls over really easy. Just something to keep in mind, that the integrity of the bag is dependent on the sides being full of discs. So the middle pocket can fit a fair bit of stuff. We're just gonna shove some things in there to showcase. This is just like a normal sized towel. Yeah, we got the disc retriever here we'll throw in. Then we also have, we'll just try to throw in this fleece jacket. There we go. So you can actually fit in quite a bit of stuff. I mean, that's a whole jacket, plus a towel, plus my retriever. Obviously this makes, you know, this more tight. You can't really put a disc in this pocket, you know, no big deal to me. Then we'll throw the water bottle in there just to showcase. You can get everything in there. So this pocket I think is deceptively big, which is really nice. Because it's like the only storage, the only non-disc storage on the whole bag is really this. There's one other place, or rather 2 other places, and that's on the sides. So the sides here have these small zippered pockets. This is good for like a smaller wallet, keys, You know, I have a really small wallet, so I have no problem fitting it in here. But if you have a larger wallet, they're not super wide, they're not super like tall, so you might have trouble if you have a real thick wallet. Personally, I carry all my valuables in these side pockets. I'm not gonna mess around and put my valuables in here because this thing falls over a decent amount. That's one thing that we'll get to later on. And when this thing topples over, everything's coming out of the center. I mean, this, you know, all your things are gonna fall out. So I don't like putting any valuables in here because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna lose them. I recommend these zipper pockets. It's really the only place that is like fully protected and you don't have to worry at all about anything coming out. And then for other storage doodads and doohickeys, there is this top pouch here. This is, I assume it's for minis. That's what I put in there. You can fit like 3 minis up here. They never fall out. It's really like, it's pretty deep. So they're very secure. That's nice. You also have this pouch on the side here. It's like an extra, not really elasticy, but it's just an extra little pouch. And I assume that's also for minis. Let me see. Gosh dang you. So as you can see, I mean, I think it's designed for minis, I assume. But like when this thing is filled up with discs, like you really can't fit anything in here. Like let me take one out and then try. Yeah, so when I take a disc out and I go 4 up here, then it gets pretty easy. You can store a mini in there, take it out. But if you have this at max capacity, I mean, that thing's not getting in there. And finally, there is one more zippered space. And I've heard of other people using this to keep their valuables because it has this flap. And this is nice to like protect these discs from the rain and stuff. I basically never use this flap. I always have it tucked away in here. It tucks very discreetly, which is nice. So you never have to use it, never gets in the way if you don't want it to. But there are these 2 zippers which form a continuous pocket here, but you can, you know, zip one, put your stuff in here if you want to, which is decent. You know, you can keep your wallet in here, no big deal. And it zips the other way as well, so that in theory, you could have it tucked away in here and then use it from the other end to put stuff in and not have it fall out the other side. So cool design. I literally never use it because it's like larger space in here I always have filled with stuff. So there's never really a way for me to just put something in here, but that is technically another zippered space for valuables, which is good because the bag is so light on that type of component. Another note on storage, I find that when I put my bottle in here, sometimes it gets blocked by items in this compartment, especially like my disc retriever, for instance. Like sometimes my disc retriever or other items will almost get like wedged so that they're protruding into the water bottle space. The water bottle space is separated by a couple pieces of fabric there, but it's really flimsy in here, so it's easy for stuff to get kind of stuck and wedged, and then it'll actually block your water bottle from going in the whole way. Again, not a huge deal. It's easy to just kind of, you know, mess around in there, adjust those. Water bottle goes in fine. That's just something, again, to keep in mind. Normally, this bag comes with a strap that comes around. Buckle yourself in. I took it off immediately when I got this. I see no reason to have like the front buckle strap thing. I've never seen anyone else use it. The straps are extremely adjustable. So when I put this on, it's like securely on my back. So I never have issues with it like flopping around on my back. And because of that, I've never seen a reason to have the front straps that go over here. I mean, I guess if like you live in a really mountainous region, maybe you'd want to buckle in. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see myself ever using it. Never seen anyone else use it. I mean, I could be hiking up a mountain and I still wouldn't use it. Like, it just, to me, it doesn't make any sense, but you know, it's there. Easy to remove if you want to remove it, so it's really no big deal. Now, as I've alluded to a couple times, the best part about this bag and the main selling point is the weight. It is extremely, extremely light. We're gonna weigh it here. We're gonna take out all our stuff first and just weigh it naked. Blistex. Nice Blistex holder. So I have it at exactly 1 pound, which is extremely light. I mean, that's hard to do. Thank you, Bass Pro Shop, for sponsoring this video. Next week, if it's still cold, we'll do the most comprehensive review of the Bass Pro Shop fishing weight ever on the internet, perhaps. Then let's put some discs back in, because the discs are honestly the heaviest part of the bag, which is really nice. Load her up. We're gonna weigh it with 14 discs. Keep in mind the weight originally was 1 pound. Oh yeah. So now we got about 7 pounds fully decked out with discs. So yeah, I mean the bag itself weighs basically nothing in comparison to the discs, which is really cool how they were able to design it this way. Let's also throw in our other doodads. Got the water bottle, this is 24 ounces. We got our disc retriever. Also put our towel in there. Put our Blistex back in there. Man, we'll put a mini, that 1 gram mini. Oh yeah, that is right on the money, 10 pounds. You can see me struggling. It's because I'm a disc golfer. So the weight is unparalleled. Probably the lightest bag versus capacity that you could possibly do while maintaining the backpack style and not being like a satchel bag. A couple things to note about the padding. It's really nice, thick, comfortable padding. As I said, I've had this bag for 2 years. The padding still feels brand new. But one thing with the padding, which you may or may not be able to tell on video, is after 2 years of use, it's very lopsided. I'm right-handed, I always pick up my bag on the right side, and as a result, this whole right side is like bent inward and the left is like bent outward. You can tell that the structure of the back is some type of wire frame. Like it's nice and it's pretty hard, it's stiff, and the padding makes it really comfortable. But because it's that wire frame, it allows it to kind of deform like this. But with that said, when it's on my back, I really can't tell at all that it's deformed, especially because, you know, I have this, so it's pretty tight all the time on me, and it feels great. So even though it is deformed and visually it's not the most pleasing thing in the world, functionally it's basically the same as when it was new, which is nice. Another component is we have a carry handle here, as well as a carry handle here. I don't really know why there's these 2 separate handles. This one, even though this is like the main one that's thicker and it's got this really comfortable padded grip here, half the time it like falls down into the disc, so I'm basically never using this handle because it always just kind of flops in. So I'm almost always using this handle, which is perfectly fine. I don't really care. I mean, this one's really thin, but I use it constantly, and it's held up perfectly. The seams look great. You know, the stitching looks great still after 2 years. So, yeah. Even though this is thin, you don't really have to worry about it breaking at all. Really, the materials hold up very well. On the bottom, it's got this almost like rubbery material. I believe it's waterproof. I can never feel water in the bottom of the bag, which is really nice because, you know, if you keep valuables in this part here, obviously you want it to be protected from the water if you set this down, damp ground, but this does a great job of protecting the contents of the bag from the outdoor elements. It also has these 4 pegs here. I believe the newer shift bags have a different peg design, but the pegs work really well. I'm not sure why they changed them exactly. You know, it keeps it off the ground. There's also this Velcro spot on the front of the water bottle holder. I'm not a big patch guy, so I don't typically use it, but you know, that's nice if you want to personalize your bag. We also have these 2 rings, which can be good for if you have like a towel or something, maybe like a bag tag or something that you want to hang off there. So the bag also originally came with some elastic pieces so that you could basically bundle these up, keep them out of the way. I've since lost those. It doesn't really make a huge difference to me. They don't really get in the way, but it is nice that they come with those originally. And I also want to take some measurements here just so you know exactly what you're getting into when you buy this and how it's going to fit on your frame. The height from the very bottom to the top is just shy of 18 inches. Longest, the widest point, not including the straps on the bottom, it's just short of 15 inches. So pretty small profile overall. And finally, I do want to talk a little bit how the stitching and the quality has maintained over the 2-year period. Let's just find some of the biggest spots of wear. So the tops of these straps are kind of what you would expect to wear out the quickest because you're constantly, putting it on, taking it off, but they've held up really well. There is a little bit of fraying that you can see here, but otherwise, I mean, it looks brand new. There are spots of fraying down here, and there's actually a hole that's developed at the very bottom of the strap. I guess it's probably because these straps are stitched onto the larger strap right here. So probably just from putting it on and taking it off, this has kind of developed a bit of a hole. It's really not a big deal, and after 2 years, you would expect a little bit of wear, and this is probably the worst of it. Little bit of fraying on some of the elastic parts, but overall the elastic has held up great, better than expected, honestly. At the bottom, obviously the bottom is gonna get beat up a lot. There is a hole developing right here, but there's still fabric protecting it, so it's not totally exposed yet. And then just minor fray points. These plastic pegs have held up really well, no chunks taken out, no deformities. Yeah, so it's impressive, honestly, because I literally take this out and use it almost daily, especially, in the summer and the nice parts of the year. I'm constantly disc golfing, and I have a cart that I use sometimes as well, but this is my main daily bag that I'm taking everywhere. So the fact that it's held up this well over the past couple of years is really, really impressive. So overall, I'm really happy with the bag. They retail at about $170, I believe. They're on sale pretty often though. I think it's a fantastic deal. If you think about other bags in that price range, this is kind of competing with the smaller grip and Swatch bags. If you were looking for the lightest bag possible, this is it. If you're in the demographic of maybe you have a bad back, or you play some really long courses with a lot of elevation change, I think this is going to be better than the comparable small bags at the price point. And that's coming from somewhere where I used to own a grip bag and I wanted something lighter. And the difference in weight between this and the BX is huge. It's an enormous weight and comfort difference. But I'm not someone who has a lot of pride in the bag and the company that they choose to support with the bag. And some people online get really passionate about grip versus Swatch versus pound versus etc. I don't really care, and to be fully transparent, I've considered getting rid of this and going that step up to the pound bag, the pound Rufus, and I still might do that, but that's a huge jump in price. Those Rufuses retail at over $300, whereas this is almost basically half the price actually. So at this price point, I mean, this is amazing bag. I will say 14 discs, the obvious drawback, the low capacity. It's a little too limiting, and I really would prefer something that can hold around 20 discs, because if I want to go do field work, if I want to test out new discs for reviews and videos I want to do, then it can be tough to have this limiting capacity. But generally, even for tournaments, 14 kind of gets the job done most of the time. I don't really need more than 14 generally, and that's wanting the 20 discs isn't a necessity for me. It's kind of just a luxury. So with that in mind, I think this is a good bag for me, even though I might step up and get the pound Rufus eventually, which even though I've not tried one of those, just because of testimonials of other people, the Rufus does seem like a step up in quality and the whole bit, but the price can't really beat this upper park shift. So I think that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else to go over for this bag. If you like another bag, if you think there's a good competitor to this bag, let me know, because I'd be curious maybe to review it, compare it, but you can't really go wrong with this. It's just great, just a great bag. It's not sponsored, not sponsored by Upper Park, so I don't really care if you buy it or not, And I appreciate you guys watching till the end. Really means a lot that you watch my videos. Have a good one. See you later.